Good afternoon to all of you who are joining us in this third session of the day. My name is Felix Sanchez. I'm a graduate of Hostos Community College from the class of 2002. I'm currently the Alumni Relations Manager at the Office of Alumni Relations on behalf of the Division of Institutional Advancement, Hostos Community College. I extend a warm welcome to each of you attending our Financial Empowerment Seminar this afternoon. It is a privilege to have our students, esteemed Hostos alumni, dedicated staff, and faculty members in attendance. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. A few housekeeping reminders. This presentation will be recorded for future reference. We kindly request that all participants remain muted throughout the duration of the session. We also encourage all attendees to please ask questions throughout the presentation using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. We will have a dedicated time at the end of the session to address them all. Thank you for your cooperation. As part of our busy agenda for the day, the Financial Empowerment Seminar was organized to provide the Hostos community with a valuable opportunity to improve our financial knowledge and skills. We trust that the information you receive today will assist you in refining your financial goals and achieving success. For this session's topic, Budgeting 101, our featured speaker was born in the Dominican Republic and came to the United States in 1998, where he graduated from Martin Luther King High School before attending Bronx Community College. He earned an associate's degree in information technology. His career in banking began in 2005 at Citibank, where he started as a teller and worked his way up to become a customer service representative. In 2012, he joined HSBC Bank as a head teller, progressing to the role of personal banker. In 2022, following a merger with Citizens Bank, he continued his career and has been very happy with the transition. A passionate Mets fan, he also enjoys music and cherishes spending time with his two beautiful daughters. He loves his role in helping people with their banking needs and making a positive impact in their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Emilio Breton. Emilio, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Felix, and everybody else. Thank you for inviting me to this workshop. Like Felix says, I'm a banker here at the Citizens Bank, and my job is to help everybody when it comes to financial decisions. That's one of my major jobs here at Citizens, and also I want to go with the budget 101 with you guys. So I have a slideshow here that I want to share with you guys. Can everybody see the slideshow?
Now we can, yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so see if I can do the slideshow. Cannot see on my part though. Oh, there you go. Now, anybody can tell me any part of the world that you would like to go on vacation? Any part of the world that you would like
Hawaii.
to go?
Italy.
Well, Hawaii is one of my favorite places to go. Anybody else?
Italy.
Oh, Italy. You want to see Papa Francesco in Rome? Okay, yeah,
That's right.
It's a nice place to go also as well. Why I asked you this question? Why we want to know exactly why we had to go to a place. Normally we want to take vacation, right? That's one of the things that we need to do at least once or twice a year to get out of the routine. And the reason why I asked that question is that it takes time for that. It takes time to planning for vacation. And one of the things that I always do is planning for vacation. Is it has to be part of a budget. So every time we go to a place, Our question is always is how much I'm going to spend on the on this vacation. So that's what budgeting comes into a place to make sure that we know exactly what we're going to spend and what can we dedicate money to save for that particular vacation. So that's one of the reasons I like to ask those questions in the workshop. Um, the other thing is be aware of little expenses. Anybody knows exactly what budget is about? Can anybody tell me about budgeting? Any ideas of what we need to create a budget?
To be able to financially pay for the things that is necessary, like your bills. And like you said, saving towards something, whether it's a college education or like a vacation. But you have to budget out what you are taking home after taxes and everything to be able to budget that amount.
Correct. Or that's one of the reasons. Normally budgeting it helps you to understand your cash flow. So your cash flow meaning you want to find out if you have a deficit or you want to find out if you have a surplus. Surplus is what we're looking for when we're doing a budgeting. If you want to set up a goal like vacation, you want to make sure that you can afford that vacation. We take the income minus expenses, and then we get the surplus or deficit. So when we have a deficit, meaning that things are not doing good in our finance. So budgeting is like a GPS. If you go to a place, let's say if you go to Florida, you need a GPS, right, to tell you direction where to go. So budgeting is just kind of like the GPS on your finance. It tells you exactly where to go when it comes to budgeting. That's how you know what you're going to find out if you have any kind of overspent expenses, and also if you're in track of your financial goals. When it comes to like retirement, you have to make sure that when a customer comes to my branch and talks about retirement, I want to see the budget. When a customer wants to buy a house, the first thing I ask, I want to see your budget. When a customer wants to do a business, want to establish a business, I say, what is your budget? Budget goes with everything in life when it comes to financial. You need to have the GPS that can track all your expenses and make sure that you don't overspend. Anybody can tell me any any type of income that you can get. What incomes other than salary? Any other income?
Interest.
Interest, yeah, dividends. That's one thing. Anybody else?
Like a side business, like a side hustle.
Side hustle, yeah. A lot of people nowadays using, for example, Instacart and DoorDash to get extra income.
Yes.
That's something right now. I know a lot of
someone is mentioning tax return as well.
Tax return. That's some kind of income. But what kind of income is that? Tax return.
That's from withholdings.
Right. That's what we call the tax exempt income, meaning that you don't get, even though you paying your taxes, but when you get the money, it's non taxable. There's some other income that you can get, like you said, CD. Like if you open a CD and you get interest on that, that's income. Another job is another type of income. If you have another job, or I know a lot of people that does like take care of the lawns or the property just to make some extra money too as well. That's one thing, Commission is another type of salary that you can get salary out of that. Capital gain. So for example, if you have a house, you buy it for 250 and you sell it for 300, you got 50,000 there, capital gain. That's another type of income as well. Now, when it comes to expenses, what kind of expenses are? There's two type of expenses. There's fixed expenses and also flexible. Can anybody tell me maybe a fixed expense? That's the easiest one.
Your rent until they raise it.
Yeah, that's one of the most common fixed expenses are out there. Utility, right? And that's another one. Utility bills, another fixed expensive.
Mine's fluctuate. So I don't. Well, if you say fixed, is that because it's like every month is coming?
Right,
Or
every month is coming.
Okay.
And it's normally around the same amount, or depending how you use your electricity.
Except for the summertime.
Right. If you have like a water bill, is normally
AC.
something fixed. Mm-hmm. How about flexible expenses that can change, variable change?
Food.
A funny fact about food is that American, they use 10% of the of the income on food. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
10% just for food, yeah. Right now, if you go to the supermarket, you see that prices are going high up compared to 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That due to inflation. I have actually, Lee, I'm gonna share that with you how to, just to play around. If you're a geek like me, you can actually play around with the calculator that they have. If you go to the United States Labor Department, you can actually look at your, at the inflation rate. Does anybody know what's the inflation rate at the moment?
No. 3%?
Okay. Right now, the inflation rate is a 2.5. 2.5. Guess how was when the 2 years ago, around August?
I don't know.
Well, the inflation rate was like 9.1. So it was a big, different with what it was before, or was around what it was right now. The reason why I asked this question is we need to be aware of how inflation works, and also always ask what inflation is right now yourself, because you need to know these things. Anybody heard about the frog and the water and the boiling water? Like if you have a frog in the boiling water and you increase the temperature little by little, the frog will actually recognize that the temperature is going up. And at the end of the day, once the temperature hits a boiling point, it's going to be too late for the frog. So same thing with inflation. You need to know exactly what the inflation rate, so that you can adjust your budget a little better. Have anybody has a budget? And if you guys have a budget?
No.
No? Okay. So a budget is very important to have. The reason why is because you need to know exactly what you spend. A lot of my customers, when they come over here, they don't have the budgeting. And when the account gets hit every time, they don't even look at the statement, first of all. They don't even look at the statement. So they don't know exactly what's going on in the account. They don't know exactly what's going on. There was one customer that came to me and asked me, "Hey, Emilio, I get in this charge for $60 every month. I never sign up for this kind of service. What is this?" And when I was looking at the account, that person, I was looking at every statement or each month. That customer was getting charged for like 2 years and never noticed because he never checked the statement. So important that we check the statement. You can tell more or less or how your budgeting is by looking at your statement. So if you look at your statement, you're gonna see your deposits, which is your income. If you have everything going to your account like direct deposit, if you see your income, your deposits in the account, it's gonna also have the debits that you have, and it tells you exactly where your cash flow is. Have you seen the have you ever seen that?
Yes, and don't pay attention. Sorry.
Yeah. You sure we have to pay attention to that. That's
I'm
the
going to
bank.
start.
The bank always send you some statement just for you to review it. Anything that you see that is not that you didn't do that, you can detect it faster by knowing exactly where what goes to your account, and always write it down on your budget, whatever it is. Always write with your budget, and you can go back 3 months, right? Um, if you do your budget, you back 3 months or your statement, and that budget that you have should be equal to or close to what your statement deposits and expenses are going. I always recommend customers to do everything to the account so that to keep track of what's going on. So be aware of little expenses, like a small leak will sink your great ship. So any kind of things like that, if you don't know what's going on in your finance, there's 100% sure that we're gonna have some kind of difficulties on that. Okay, keep track of your spending, identify your income and expenses, and analyze your cash flow to look over a way to increase your income and decrease your expenses. There's our necessary stuff in life, and there's unnecessary items in life. When you look at for example, a coffee. So if you have a coffee right now, if you go to a shop, it's like $2. I can't remember last time I bought a coffee in a shop, because every time I do it from home and I take it from home. But right now it's like like $2 a coffee shop. A coffee could be a need, because you need a coffee to get energy sometimes at work. But if you go to a Starbucks and you buy a coffee, that's kind of like a want. So can anybody tell me about a needs and wants? What's the difference between needs and wants? Catherine, can you tell me one of the items that are expensive that are needs? Oh, Keisha, yeah, you raise your hand.
He's just raising her hand.
A need, I would say, is like I said, your bills. So you need to pay your bills, right? And
Mhm.
your wants is that cup of Starbucks $6 coffee. You want that. It's not a need, or, like you said, if you want to have coffee, you can make it at home and get 50 cups out of that, Folgers, container, opposed to buying 50 cups of coffee at Starbucks, and it'd be like, so much money. So I
Right,
would say, like I said, the needs are what you can't go without, and the wants are things that you can go without.
right. There's a budget that is actually was created by Elizabeth Warren. I don't know if you guys know Elizabeth Warren. Is she actually a Senate for the Massachusetts state? She actually created the 50, 30, and 20 budget. Have you ever heard about that?
No.
Okay, so it's a budget plan in which you use your 50 for what you need, 30 for what you want, and a 20% for savings. So basically, you allocate your income, your expenses, right? Your income and your expenses. You take your 30, the 50% is things that you need. essential for your life, like rental or housing, depending if you have rent or mortgage, utilities, food, things of that nature that you can use for your that 50% of your income should go to that particular expenses. And the one, because sometimes we want to go on vacation, we want to buy what we want, which is it is good to do it for lifestyle, but you need to your limits, and things can happen anytime. Look what happened in when the COVID-19. A lot of people, lost their job for 6 months, even more than 6 months. They didn't have any kind of savings. They didn't have any kind of budgeting in place. And if it wasn't for the government giving, incentives, then they would have a big problem. Thank God that Uncle Sam came in and trying like subsidize, income for those people that need it. But if we wouldn't have that, there would be a lot of people starving, and having financial problems. So you need a 20% of your savings of that money of your income going to the savings. Now it's not going to apply all for everybody. Like if I have problems with debt, right, I will dedicate more money to the debt to pay my debt than my savings. But if you have a good budgeting, you can actually allocate the savings, the what you want, and also what you need. If you kind of understand what I'm saying. So it's a spending tracker activity. We're gonna have a savings tracking activity later. But any question other than that? One thing I want to say is that you're supposed to have on your savings account at least 6 months of your monthly expenses. So that comes with the budgeting again. So you need to know exactly what you spend. Have a savings account, like an emergency fund, to have a dedicated saving just in case things goes wrong on the financial. If I lose a job or I get sick, I want to have a savings account there to take money out of that account in case those kind of situation comes up, because we need that backup sometimes. 6 months of your monthly spending on the savings account. All right, income versus expenses. That's how it is. How we generate the budgeting. Anybody married here? Okay.
I am. I am
Do you,
proudly.
do you sit down with your spouse and when it comes to like a budgeting?
Everything. We
Yeah.
have to be on the same page. Absolutely everything.
Budgeting is like when the Congress goes and they need to allocate some money to budgeting. Yeah, same thing you should do with your partner. You should allocate, you should do like a committed meeting, every month. That's it. You commit meeting, and anything goes wrong, you have to be in agreement with your partner when it comes to budgeting. Sometimes there's gonna be disagreement. Just like everybody in the Congress, they get to a disagreement, but they come to a conclusion at the end. So there's gonna be some sacrifices there when you do budgeting, but it's important that we on the same page all the time. Now, I have done with my wife some kind of budgeting, and I need to sacrifice some video games for my, I love do some video games sometimes. I haven't played video games because my wife tells me, no, you don't need that. We don't need that. So all the subscription on video games, I shop it out. I don't have that anymore.
It's like you're saying
can remember.
the needs are wants, right? That's just going piggyback into what you
Yes.
said earlier.
Yep. I have a daughter now going to college, and I have a daughter going to daycare. So I need to do some sacrifices there. because at the end of the day, it's a responsibility that we need to take care of. And what we need is more important than what we want. There's going to be at one point that, we're not going to need to do all the sacrifices, and then we can relax a little bit. But when things are getting tough, we need to do some sacrifices. All right. Okay, so help Tom to develop a spending plan. Tom makes $100 every month, moving laws, right? And it has a $50 bill, $50 bill from the cell phone, and he used everything for the cell phone. This slideshow was created when everybody was using gigs and 3 gigs, 5 gigs. Now everybody has actually a limit normally, but just to have an idea. Let's see, for the rest of the money goes towards hanging out with friends, which is $30, buying clothes, new music, games, like kind of like me, $45, and then $10 in the savings. I have $70 in the right savings account now. My problem is I didn't realize how much I was using my phone last month into one way. I went over all my data. So he used all his data. And now he has to pay $256. Same thing what I was telling, sometimes we have no control of things. He can have control of that, right? He should be more aware that data, that he had limits on data, and he will over his limits. So now he has to pay $256. If we do the budgeting with him, and I get the calculator, his cash flow is gonna have a deficit. So if we got $100, right? He spent $3 on hanging out with friends, $10 into his savings, and $45 in game. And it has $70 on the savings account. And now he has to pay $256. That's going to put him on a hole. So what do you need to do to actually maybe pay the $256 and continue using his phone and do what he had to do? What things that he had to do to make those changes? Anybody can tell me?
He has to not do any of the things that he was doing. He can't buy any clothes. He cannot buy any video games. And he has to only use his phone for the necessary like calls he needs to make, instead of just like talking on his have on his phone forever, because that's what he did. He talked too long. So just make it short and brief for the necessary calls that he needs to make.
Yeah. And now that he has that 256, what I suggest to Tom is increase his income a little bit, maybe getting a side job just to pay his bill, maybe cut up a little bit of the games, hanging out with friends, so that he'd be able to pay what he owns, the $256, that he has to pay. Just in real life, same thing with real life. If you use for example, your credit card too much, you will have to pay that money back. So you have to do some sacrifices. In case something goes wrong, you lose your job and you need to pay it, you need to do some sacrifices on that. And cut expenses. You had to come like a machete when it comes to expenses. You had to cut off, things that are necessary to cut it off. That's what he needs to do on that. But thank you, Keisha, for that. Okay. This is what I do with the kids, and form a circle and toss a bounce ball. But I cannot do it virtual. But when I receive money, whether I spend it or save it? What do we do when you receive money? Do you spend it or save it? Both. I would say both. I would spend it and I would save it every time I get money. But it has to be in a smart way when you do it. Do I spend most of the needs or wants? You can do a little bit of both, needs and wants. But depending on the situation, the financial situation, if you have a surplus on your budget, then you can do you need your wants. What will you try from the class concept? The class concept is budgeting. So you learn anything on that? Anything any takeaway from what we talked? No?
Someone is saying to watch the account more closely.
Yeah. The bank statement is a great thing to look at it every month. A reason why the bank statement is for you to look at it. You can detect fraud from that. Things that you overspending. All that thing is on the statement. And that's a responsibility for us to look at it. 5 minutes of your time to look at your statement. 5 minutes. That's all it takes. I have some. I want to share with you guys this. I had this activity here. All right. Can you see it?
Yes.
Can you see that? The lesson 3?
It says what if budget activity.
Yes.
Oh no, so it's this one I want to share. One sec. It just let me go back to I'm gonna start sharing this one. I'm gonna start sharing this one right here. I'm just gonna do one. I know we're running a little bit out of time. How about now?
Yes.
Okay. So Kaden is 18, right? And she makes $550 each month. So Kaden wants to move out of the parents' house, and this is her expenses. So I want you to get a calculator, if you can. Put her income and then minus everything. So her monthly income is 550. So you know that you have to multiply Sunday for Monday because it's only 1 week, adding all the amounts, and then you multiply it by 4 weeks, and that will tell you, her monthly expenses. So when you calculate it, let me know what numbers you come up with. You have a calculator. I'll give you like maybe 5 minutes, maybe less. So let's do the calculation. I already did my calculator. I've been doing this. I already know everything by heart. So we know the income, which is 550 each month. Now we need to calculate the expenses.
It's over 150, right? If I'm not mistaken.
What was that?
It's over 150, if I'm not mistaken, if my calculations are right.
Yep. So she's short. So she had to do some adjustment there. And one of the big adjustment that I see there that she needs to do is actually maybe the concert or the movie, cutting that off, right? Coffee, $2, right? She can do the coffee at home. Manicure, she goes out to do manicures. She can actually, spend less money by doing her own manicure, right? Gas, you cannot control that much, depending on you what she used the money for. If she used it for, to go to work, but she worked for, with her mom, yeah, and I don't think that can be changed. But if she used it for traveling, then how about cutting off the traveling? Maybe pay less in gas. Movie, instead of watching a movie at the theater and get some snacks, $15. Maybe she can actually, watch a movie at home, or maybe not do it as often. Compared to the income, partially cash flow. Do you think she has how is the cash flow for her? So Felix says 155 minus, right? So that's a deficit. So every company in the world, every company in the world, every government in the world, schools, churches, everything is run by a budget, and that's how they determine if how they doing financially. If they see that the budget they have a deficit, they need to do some changes. Whether they're cutting workforce, whether cutting necessary expenses, or increase their income. So if I have if I know a budget, right? If I don't know how to do a budget, and I want to get a job for, as a manager of a store or something, the chances that will go downhill is as 100%. You need to have a budget for everything. You own a business, you have to have a budget. Everything is run by a budget. And I always encourage people, if you have your partners, to go every month and do the meeting with your partner and go over the budget. Sometimes the wife does the budget, the husband doesn't know, right? There's cases that I see that the wife runs everything, and then the wife passes away, and then the husband goes like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do now? My wife run everything." And then, because we're not engaging into with the wife when it comes to budgeting, never sit down with the wife, now he's in big trouble. I see that happen a lot in real life, and it's sad. It's sad. Um, One thing I also want to share. Let me stop sharing this. And this is actually from the app, from the Citizen website. It's a 50. Let me see if you guys can see that. Any question about any other question you might have?
Yeah, we'll be entering the Q&As. We'll be entering the Q&A soon.
So, okay, let me just show you this a little bit. Right. So this is actually on our website. You can also actually Google 50, 30, and 20 budget, and it tells you everything about budgeting. Everything you need to do about budgeting, 50%. When it comes to the rule, is go to utilities, healthcare, student loan payments, transportation costs, credit card, and child care insurance. And what you want, dining out, premium, clothing, subscription and streaming services. There's a lot of people that I know that have Netflix, they have Hulu, Prime. I don't know how you can name it. they have everything, and they spend a lot of money streaming. They want to save money on cable, but they have like
Emilio,
three.
could you share that link on the chat so that people could
Sure, yeah.
read it whenever they have a moment?
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks.
Going to share that. And also I'm going to share the inflation rate too as well. Go to the chat. Yeah, there's a lot of information there that you can actually look into it. And now should they have a budget sheet too as well. If you are the person that likes to write everything down, there's a budget sheet there too as well. There's application too that they can help you how to create a budget, and they're not normally free out there that you can actually do budgeting. If you search budgeting on your Google device or your Apple device, you can actually look at the budgeting there too as well. And let me show you this one before. How much time we have, Mr. Felix? How much time do we have, more or less?
2 more minutes before we enter the Q&A session.
2 more minutes, okay. So let me show you the other one. I'll start sharing this one here. And this is the inflation. It's inflation right here. So this is inflation calculator. It's on the U.S. labor calculator. You can type that on Google and it can come up. I can actually send the link and you can calculate. Like if I rent an apartment in New York City in 2006, that's when my daughter was born, right? Most likely right now, if you calculate it to now, it could be 2,381 due to inflation. Time is a factor. So you need to have, if you have money in the savings account, not getting a lot of interest, if you have that would be a great thing to do, because inflation will eat your savings with time. So when you accumulate enough savings into your account, make sure that you put it in some kind of vehicle that can generate some kind of return to you. So you can go to that website. I'm gonna send you the link as well, and you can go back in time and see how much was $2,000, $1,500 back in 1991, and it tells you what it is right now. Send you the link. Stop sharing. And send you the link there too. We need to just create an awareness of of inflation rates. Always good to know what the rates are. But when you buy a house, rate is part of that, because if rate goes up, you're going to spend more money. If rate goes down, you're going to save some money. I think that's what I have so far.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Emilio, for that presentation. Really helpful indeed. If anyone has any questions, you could enter them on the Q&A session, or you could just simply open up your mic. Thank you.
Thank you. Very interesting information. And you're going to post this on the Hosto site too?
Yes. Again, this video is going to be uploaded in the next few days to our YouTube page.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Yes, thank you. Because I like to go back over the information.
Sure. Any other questions about budgeting, best practices, anything that you would like to ask Emilio?
No, thank you, Emilio.
No problem, Keisha. Thank you for very interactive with me. I like to be asked questions when it comes to that. And
thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So before we come to an end, I just wanted to thank all Hostos alumni that are connected. I'm asking you to please remain engaged with our institution. remember the power that we could accomplish together. So thank you so much all for your presence here today. Please save the date for our upcoming event, which is the Laugh-a-thon. It's an exciting fundraising comedy show that will take place on Thursday, October 24th. It's an evening full of laughter, fun, entertainment, and it's with the whole purpose of supporting our Hostos Community College students. Mark your calendars once again, Thursday, October 24. Stay tuned for more details. Be sure to promptly log in again at 3 p.m. for our next topic, which is home lending. If anyone is interested in the audience in learning more about taking first steps on becoming a homeowner, 3 p.m. our next session, it's around the corner. So on behalf of Hostos Community College, the Division of Institutional Advancement, and the Office of Alumni Relations, and Mr. Emilio Breton, thank you so much for spending time with us. This is Felix Sanchez, Alumni Relations Manager, bidding you farewell. Have a great afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you at 3 p.m. Thank you all. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Goodbye.